Good morning, Maria. How are you?
I'm well, Lourdes. How are you this morning?
Terrific. So,
Great.
yeah, really. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, I love the picture you posted today. Or just your good morning picture today on the Hudson.
Yeah, that was actually yesterday, but
Oh,
yes. So grateful to be able to take a walk down to the Hudson River and be in nature. All of it is so uplifting, really. So today we're going to talk about the common barriers to self-acceptance. And
yes.
we're just going to have a conversation about this. One of the major barriers that I see in my work is a propensity towards negative self-talk. You know, folks, they just beat themselves up over and over again. And it's usually kind of a limited script. They have like maybe five or six things that they're saying negatively about themselves, and it's like their go-to response. It's an automatic, and they just beat themselves up. It's this constant inner dialogue of criticizing oneself, and I think it really contributes to not only self-esteem, but it also kind of it holds you back. You're really kind of tethered to this view of you, and it's a barrier to moving forward in your life and in your endeavors.
Right. Who you are for yourself is the foundation of how you live, how you interact with others. I mean, it's foundational. Who you are for yourself, and if you're who you are for yourself is a critic and that negative self-talk, that's how successful can you be with somebody beating you down all the time, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I think I love the way that you just said that, because if we think about other people and, you know, we think about how they're going to respond to constantly being beat up,
Right.
not physically. I'm not talking about physically. I'm
Verbally.
talking about with words, being
Right.
criticized and condemned, and always someone else always finding fault with what they did, how they did it. You know, that's not a recipe for thriving. Yet we don't apply that to our own selves, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Precisely. The next one is the past trauma, which in most cases you want to seek someone to help you with past trauma, especially if it's capital T trauma. And reaching out for help, I don't think is a negative thing, obviously. But with past traumatic experiences, especially in childhood, they can significantly impact your self perception. Again, who you are for yourself, right? And so the experience can create deep seated beliefs that you're unworthy or that you're flawed in some way. And none of us is perfect. And when you see people that seem to have it all and that they're perfect, um, it's not. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. So dealing with your past traumas is again foundational, right? Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's all I really have to say about past traumas. But it's you can just go down, just have a conversation about past traumas, right? So
Yeah, and I've shared this before in other places, probably in conversation with you, but that our childhood experiences can cause us to have some deep-seated beliefs,
mhm,
and that for me is, that's true to my story.
mhm,
I had some deep-seated beliefs that led me to believe that I was not worthy, not valued, not enough. And, you know, I did go to therapy, But it was actually within a coaching session that I was able to excavate that deep-seated belief, reframe it, understand it as an adult because it was something that happened in my childhood, and then just kind of put it behind me after decades of carrying this around and just being kind of, driven. My behavior was guided by this deep-seated belief in my unworthiness. And so, so important to deal with past traumas, whether it's a capital T or lowercase t trauma. The events that occur in our childhood can have, really long-term effects. And I think it's wise to take a look at them and deal with them and put it behind you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So another obstacle is the cultural and societal pressures. You know, Society often imposes standards and stereotypes about how we should look, behave, and what it means to be successful. And these pressures can make it really difficult to accept yourself if you feel like you don't measure up.
Mhm.
I work with a lot of women, and this is something that inevitably comes up because, especially, I think, well, I think it's, I'm going to try to be balanced here. I think the societal pressures are different, right, for
Right.
women than they are for men. And then, we're not even going to have a conversation here about other genders, right? But
Right.
there are these societal pressures that are determinants of how we feel about ourselves and whether we're living up to the standards, feel like we're falling short, feel like they're out of our reach. And this can be a huge obstacle to overcome if you're living your life based on what the cultural or society pressures are and what you're being told you need to be, do, look like.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two things come to mind. First of all, societal pressures, their their beliefs, shared beliefs that we as individuals can start to change or influence those shared beliefs. These are not laws of nature. This is not gravity. So these are things that are mutable that can change, and we're the ones that influence these societal standards and beliefs, and we can have positive impact on them. And the second thing that I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if you caught, Connie Chung was on yesterday's morning show, Sunday morning, and she was talking about her cultural pressures and that she didn't even believe that she was successful until there was a period where um, Asian Americans and Korean and Chinese Americans started naming their children Connie. And that was like, that's when she realized that she had a positive influence. It was so impactful. You could see how she realized how successful she had been and how influential she had been to all of these girls. So
I
we
love
can
it.
make an impact, and Connie Chung for me was like that was very moving to see that. I was very happy for her, and I'm happy for women in general. So it's funny because the next one is the fear of failure, and she spoke about her fear of failure and the pressures that she had, and you know when we allow fear to um, to to prevent us from taking the risk that we need in order to try new things. And a lot of the times, fear is just I don't know, I don't have experience. And when you couch it that way, it's like, oh, I don't have experience. This is what I need to do. You anticipate that you're going to fail, but that is associated with disappointment, And so it makes you hesitate, that fear of failure. And fear of failure is just, it's really just about that. It's a hesitation. It's a pause, right? In our success. And we should treat it as a pause. And I know that I'm getting a little into strategies to overcome it, which is next. So I'm going to
So annoying, Maria.
it's hard not to give you the what it is, the point, and then not say, but you can try to do this.
Well, what I want to share about fear of failure, I mean, what you said was absolutely so on point, is that I actually, in conversation, no, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it for the strategies to overcome these. But yes, fear of failure is something that I think most people deal with. Nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to make a fool out of themselves, risk embarrassment, risk looking bad,
Right.
risk that what will people think or say, all of that. Definitely true for me. And I think it's something worth working on and overcoming, and
Right.
just, yeah. So, comparisons with others.
Yes.
This is something that will definitely kind of keep you digging yourself deeper into a hole. If you're constantly comparing yourself to what other people have, what they're doing, what they're succeeding with, where they are in life, that will definitely fuel your feelings of inadequacy. And certainly social media, uh, showcases curated, unrealistic portrayals of other people's lives. And it's been demonstrated to be just um, harmful to one's health and well-being, to take in all of these, curated, uh, slices of other people's lives, and
Right.
comparing ourselves to their best moments, right?
Right. Right. I wish that they would do like, what, like, if you took a picture of if a homeless person took a picture of being out in nature, and then they took a selfie that they were homeless and out in nature, you would have the reality of that person. They could post a picture that is beautiful anywhere, but they're homeless. And I know that's an exaggerated example, but what my point is that people post how beautiful it is to be in this to be sometimes even in relationship, and then you see where like I don't remember her name. She was dating Diddy, right? And all these glamour shots that she has, and now she's suing him for you know traumatic physical abuse. And you see the videos of her being physically abused. This is the reality that a lot of people post things that are just the glamour shot, right? But in reality, they are, in many cases, experiencing, self doubt, imposter syndrome, many imperfectional thoughts, and 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 they're not going to put the pictures of how they're suffering, right? They're only going to put the pictures of, look at this fantastic restaurant I'm in, look at this gown I'm wearing. So even the people that you see that look glamorous, even they are dealing with, you know, negative things in their lives. And we all deal with things that aren't going exactly the way we want them. I wouldn't classify my experiences as negative, because I think things are happening for me, and it's just their challenges that I'm trying to learn from. But in many cases, all that social media is just, it's just a mask of what their reality is. And again, I think that goes to the societal pressures where we have so many people that want to be a Kardashian, and it's like, they're dealing with their own stuff, but they're in a reality TV entertainment slot here, and so they're only going to show you most of their glamour stuff. And I don't think that they're in most cases, this is not how you want to model your life. You know, you want to model your life by who you are for yourself. And anyway, I
Yeah.
want to go on a tangent.
Well, to add to your tangent, there was a fabulous quote, and I'm not going to remember where I heard this, but it's like social media is like, seeing other people's, like one country's travel brochure and comparing it to another country's, crime statistics. It's
Right.
like so in that example, other people's social media feeds are the travel brochures, and your own life is the realities that, all of us inevitably have to deal with
Hmm.
in life. Yeah.
Right. Right. Well, that went a little sideways, but what? Mostly on my part, really. Anyway, so let's shift into the positive, correct? Right? The strategies for I'll pick that word, for self acceptance, and I think that we spoke about the negative self talk that we unfortunately it's very common for people to have that inner critic as a louder voice than the more powerful coach, right? Where you can have somebody be your mentor inside instead of your critic inside. And as you start to notice your thoughts, you can start, you know, you fire the inner critic and you hire the mentor within you, where that mentor catches you speaking to yourself negatively and say, okay, let me pause here. And again, this is something where mindfulness, meditation, and awareness come in so that you can hone in on that positive talk where you can say, you can say affirmations, you can remind yourself of your strengths and achievements. But if you can't do any of that, just pause. Just be satisfied with just silencing that inner critic for a moment and doing something else, and then coming back and say, okay, what would one of my mentors say that I could do? How can I reframe this situation so that it becomes where I can overcome this challenge, or where I can work out this situation instead of beating myself up? Because beating yourself up is avoidance, right? You're just avoiding what you need to tackle. And you're bringing yourself further down into I can't, and you don't need to. You can just say, okay, I can't at this moment, and I'm going to pause right here, and then start looking for the solutions to whatever the problem or the issue is that you're having.
Yeah, and I'm going to jump right into the getting help,
Right.
working with someone, finding a good therapist, working with a coach. Sometimes it's very challenging to look at these things on your own and to move past these obstacles on your own. And so I really, I mean, it was a lifesaver for me getting professional help, and I 100% think it's a worthwhile investment to seek help, get help, and invest in yourself, in your own well-being, to overcome these barriers. Because sometimes, working with positive affirmations, if you have a deep-seated belief, it's not going to be effective. It's not going to get through. And so working on those issues first before you try something like positive self-talk on your own is going to be much more effective.
Right. And to add to that, one of the things that I truly believe that we do is we resource you to be able to reframe your stories, right? So once you learn that skill of reframing your stories, it's something that you can do on your own after a while, because the whole point is you can't change the past, but you can change how you see the past, right? You can change so many things about the past that don't that will influence you in a positive way so that you can move forward and you can change that inner critic into a mentor or into a coach, you know. And that's one of the beauties of the coaching is that it's not, oh, you're going to be in session with somebody for years and years. No, you're going to get resourced so that you know how to handle the situation, and then when you get stuck, you can come back and get some more skills. But it's about doing something today to affect your today. This is not always down the road. It's reframing, retooling, resourcing yourself for today. And then another strategy is the mindfulness and the meditation, which I spoke to a little bit. Mindfulness and meditation is so key for awareness, so key for you to be able to take that pause, that space. And when you practice doing that, you'll see that you can start to pivot much faster. You can accept change quicker. You can see things differently. Your perspective changes in so many different ways when you practice mindfulness and meditation. And they really do reduce your stress and the pressures that you feel that are coming from your environment.
Yes. No secret. I am a huge fan of mindfulness and meditation, that stillness, that taking a break from all of the things that are happening in your life and just focusing on, with a focused awareness meditation or, a mantra meditate, just coming to a stillness and repeating, right? Because our thoughts will continue. You're building a muscle, you're building a practice of coming back to the point of focus. And that really, even a short practice on a daily basis will increase your ability not only to sit in meditation, but also to move from being reactive in life to being responsive and to being able to take a pause and actually see what's triggering you in your life and how you're receiving the inputs of your life and you know how you're perceiving threats in your life and being able to reframe that. So that's something that everyone can try today.
Even for 5 minutes. So the next strategy is to embrace failure, right? Because you're going to fail if you've never done this, whatever this is, then it's okay. I mean, it's like, how else? This is how you're going to learn, right? If it's on the way, it's going to help you to do it, to understand it, to be successful at it. And obviously some things take longer to be successful. Sometimes it's a lot of information that you have to take in order to be successful with something. But failure is part of success. They're intertwined. You will succeed when you pass your test, your exam, and failure is just the test and the exam. And there's no score. There's okay, am I improving? Am I progressing? Progression is the only thing that we need to look at. in order to measure our success, because it's always about the journey. You know, it, it's about, okay, I overcame this challenge. Life is an obstacle course, and we just keep going. And some obstacle courses are more difficult than others, but you just keep going, and you understand, hey, this is just the nature of being. And yeah, and if you want to prevent some failure, then you're going to have to learn on the side, right? You're going to have to get a mentor, or you're going to have to practice when no one's looking. um, Speak to other people, get more information. If you're starting a new job, you know watch as many seminars and videos and information as you can, so that you have an idea of what you're stepping into. It's not about not preparing. It's about preparing, and know, even if you prepared, you can't actually um, do until you're doing, right? I mean, you can have an idea of what you need to do, but until it's put into action, then there's things that you just don't know, because in the action and in the doing is where you also learn additional information, right?
Yeah, you're not going to learn how to ride a bike from watching videos.
Right,
You
right,
got to get up on that bike. And,
right.
fear of failure is something that I dealt with for a long time. I was not comfortable in failure, and it really creates a box,
Hmm.
a confinement. Because if you're
Hmm.
not willing to risk failure, if you're not willing to make a fool out of yourself, to
Hmm.
be the rookie, to not know what you're doing, then you'll never get started and you'll never progress. And so you will most certainly never succeed at that. This actually came up in one of my coaching sessions earlier this week, where I told the client that they need to go out there and fail at something. They need to go out there and be a rookie, and, you know, engage in something that they don't know what they're doing in. And, this is a small measured risk that they're going to take. It's not,
Right,
it's not something huge, but being able to accept those feelings of, this is not going to be pretty. This is probably not going to go well. I'm probably, if we're talking about in sports, I'm going to bomb. And that's
hmm,
okay. It's okay, because that's how we learn, that's how we progress, that's how we grow. So embrace
right.
failure for sure, and expand yourself beyond what you think you're currently capable of.
Right. You have to be able to push yourself. I often attend networking events, and it used to be so difficult for me to go up to people, to strangers, and introduce myself, because there's that fear of the rejection, right? And so, but you do it, and you realize, well, if that person is going to reject me, then that's not a person that I'm going to want to work with anyway. And so I now, I go up to somebody, I talk to them, and I know that they may or may not work with me, and whatever happens is okay, because I'm only looking for the people that are going to, become part of my network. It's not even so much work with me, but it's more, but become part of my network. And so you got to put yourself out there. You're not going to learn anything by staying inside that shell.
And the next practice is self-compassion, treating yourself as you would a friend or a loved one. This is one of the hardest things, that this is one of the things that people really struggle with, is being kind to themselves, as kind as they would be to, the clerk at the local supermarket. It's like, bring some of that kindness, that compassion home to you, and not only will it make you more compassionate towards others, but it will allow you to just grow in yourself by being compassionate to yourself.
what I really love about what you stated was absolutely perfect. I would I would only add that what I really love about self compassion as well is that when you practice self compassion, you are more inclined to be compassionate to others, and I truly love that. That's how you if you want to be a better person, start with yourself. Start with self compassion.
Yeah,
And then
I
last
believe
one.
that self-compassion is the gateway to self-love, and I think in my experience, this is something that people really struggle with, and practicing self-compassion can benefit you in that area as well. I'm sorry, you were saying?
No. I'm glad that you added that on because it is about self love, and that's truly so important. And our last one is the limit of comparisons, right? Limiting, focus on your own progress. What somebody else is doing, it be happy for them because what they're basically doing is showing you the ways that you can be more successful. If they're doing something, there's a good chance that you can do it. Maybe not exactly the way they did it, but they're opening the path for you. Don't compare where they are on their journey. My set of skills and resources are different from Lourdes' set of skills and resources, and how her journey unfolds is going to be different from the journey that unfolds for me. But I can still learn from her, and I can still cheer her on, and she can do the same for me because we're all on a journey. We're all just on a journey. And so, if you see something that you like that somebody else is doing, figure out how they did it. Ask them. Ask them how they did it. Don't beat yourself down because, oh, they're doing it and they're better. We don't know what their resources are, right? We don't know if they went through, two different jobs and learned so many more things at that job because their boss made them do everything, and now they're here at this job and now they know how to do so much more than you did because you were only asked to stay in your lane, right? So they have more experience doing something else. In some cases, we don't know why people succeed, and it's like find your why and stick to finding the way that you can make your why happen, because finding your why will open the doors to your progress so much quicker than comparing yourself to other people and judging other people and tearing other people down. Focus on your why because that's when opportunity will lead to success.
And I think it's important to allow ourselves to celebrate other people's success and to let it be a point of inspiration for us. Don't begrudge people their success, what they have, what they're doing. Use it as fuel for your own growth. If something out there
Yes.
makes you feel, jealous that someone else is achieving or doing something, hey, it's good to want. So now you've realized that you want that for yourself. Take the steps to make that happen for yourself and just focus on your own progress. A lovely friend of mine always says compare and despair. So, don't do that. Practice gratitude for where you are, for what you have, for what you can do, for the things that are your gifts and talents, and that the things that only you can bring to the world. Focus on that and enjoy, celebrate other people's success, and be inspired by it to move yourself forward.
I think that we should have said 7 strategies for self acceptance and added gratitude on there because when you come from a grateful heart, as you stated, you're the way you see things just changes so dramatically when you start from being grateful for from the point that you are, and that you get to, right? You get to do these things to get to where you want to go. And, yeah, we should have added gratitude.
Well, I think we both snuck it in there, so it's fine.
Okay, okay, perfect. All right, awesome.
Terrific.
So, thank you for joining us today. And if anyone needs needs help, obviously, we recommend that if you're dealing with any kind of issue, that you get some sort of therapy or some coaching. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can DM us as well. All right. Well, Lourdes, today's conversation was fantastic. And I'll see you on Thursday for our Q&A, where we'll answer some viewer questions.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right, great. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon.